members of the Planning Commission. My name is Sal Actor, and I'm the project manager for this religious facility. My co-presenter today is Melinda Bush, and we would like to bring your attention to a few key aspects of this place of worship. We have been working on this project with the County Planning Department for the last 6 years. That is 6 years, since 2006, and have followed all of the county rules and regulations. We have painstakingly gone through every detail of this project with the staff and then some, and in order to make sure that no aspect of it was overlooked. It is important to note that we have complied with every applicable ordinance.
So we're here today to say that enough is enough. We are more than willing to play by the rules fairly, just as any other church, but we refuse to be held to a higher, more strict, more expensive, more slow, mosque-based standard, just because there are just a few people in our wonderful community who don't seem to like us very much. Whatever the reason for this requested continuance, we should not be burdened by it or slowed down any more than we have already been delayed in this case. So on behalf of the SBIC, we formally request today, at a very minimum, that you give us full approval of our project as the staff report recommended last week in their report. To be clear, we do not support a continuance at this time. We want a vote today, yes or no. We want a yes now. We've gone through too much. We've come too far to be stopped today.
Next speaker is Leonard Trumbull, followed by Pat Forsey, and then Razi Mohudin.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt you. There's a question from one of the commissioners, Commissioner Vidovich.
That's a question for the speakers, please. Where'd the speaker go? Sal, I know first.
So, we need to give everybody a part.
Sorry, there's yeah. One of the commissioners had a question of the prior speaker.
Just for us, I know you have a small church, that's the application. You've been through this for 6 years, and I know the county gave you an okay, and they found out that they need something else. Is it your position that you need an approval today, or it's going to be a financial hardship if you don't get approval today? Is that what you're saying? Madam Chair, there's no reason that we cannot approve this right now and have...
Oh, man.
And we really need to have this time for discussion. Yeah. Please allow this. Thank you.
There is no reason we cannot approve it and have the testing done post-application. I've talked to council about it, and one of the things that he says, there is a risk if they have to move around, it could affect their buildings, but I think we can even approve it where they have a way to come back and move their buildings if they have to in the test. And I have to say one thing. I know the people in the county. I had a 15-year project that went through here. And the county, I think, a lot of times in their process, and they were worse before, they do tend to violate people's private property rights. They do tend to violate people's private property rights. They do tend to violate people's private property rights because they are slow and everything. But they're good people. I guarantee there is no racism here. But when you do slow a project down and you do make it rough on the applicant, I think it invites this type of thing. And if you would let me make the honor of the motion when it's the appropriate time, I would like to make a motion to approve this project now. I used to go to church all the time. I haven't been in a while. 80 people going to church is a very low number. That's not a very well-attended church. And a church is, their church, similar to the Catholic Church, it's an hour. Usually you go to the bathroom before you go to church, and you go to church and you go home. And the county septic system is designed, it's really designed to have probably 4 times the capacity that is necessary. There's a lot of safety factor in it. And obviously they can't exceed the size of their building, the size of the parking, the size of their septic system. So what I would suggest that the capacity be limited to the facility's ability to park and the facility's septic system. I would suggest that as an alternative. But I think 80 is just harsh. And you even agreed with that 80 is harsh. That we change it to it's limited, and it's a minimum of 80, but limited to the size of its facilities. Well, I'm informal. Why don't we just vote on each condition? I mean, I don't see why we're restricting them from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. They're not going to misbehave. So,
Do I have a motion?
yeah, I move we remove that as a courtesy to the people for what they've been through. That we remove that restriction. Item 3.
I'm gonna go.
So I move that we allow them to have cake sales, to have food and beverages, and we remove condition 4. You know, one thing I'd say, if their septic system's working and they have 100 people there, who cares? If it's working and they're not having a problem and it's not backing up, who cares? Who cares? Who cares?